Welcome to day 16 of the hashtag Body Positive February challenge. Today's point of reflection is to share a word with you that I love to use to describe my body. This was hard because it's like, how do I just pick one? And I wanted to bend the rules and do a bunch of different words and describe what they meant to me, but I thought I should stick to one. I should try to narrow it down. And the word that I chose, as cliche as it is curvy. And the reason that I chose it is because it was one of the first words that really gave me a sense of belonging, gave my body a sense of validation. And it was a soft word. It was a positive word, even though it hasn't got any specific size or even any specific shape attached to it. And I liked that. I liked the flexibility of it. I liked the ambiguity of it. And it made me feel as though my body had companions. Because, growing up and feeling like I was just so much bigger, and not taller, just kind of feeling odd, feeling just sort of uncomfortable with that sense of difference. When I came upon Curvy, and I must have been probably, 16 or so, I was like, oh, there's others like me. And it's like a desirable word, it's presented in a really positive way. And I think that goes back to, again, media exposure. I think that goes really into mainstream portrayals of women's bodies, what is considered attractive, what the sort of aspiration is. And I think there's a huge focus in the beauty industry and in the fashion industry of being attractive and being desirable. And I think that that's something to be critiqued, certainly. But I think it's really hard to get away from. And I think that the way that I've sort of gone about my my exposure to media and how I sort of maneuver that is that I've sort of come to terms with it. But I think that before you can do that, you really have to sort of be critical of what exactly you're being exposed to. And it's harder to do that when you're trying to deny yourself that exposure to begin with. Not that I'm saying that everybody needs to go through the same steps that I went through, but I think when I accepted that what I was being fed in magazines, things like that, were really body negative images and unrealistic images. And I'm not saying that because people are not slender and not all different sizes. It's because they're so heavily photoshopped. And that's a huge issue when you realize that everybody has cellulite. Really, everybody has cellulite. Everybody has stretch marks, because that's when your skin is growing. That's what happens. And people's skin is not perfect. I'm wearing makeup right now, and your eyes become brighter in photos. The lighting is perfect. You have a team of stylists making sure that you look just right. And your hair is obviously done. Every aspect of you is made sure to look perfect. And you have the situations where it's like, oh my God, look at this person's been they forgot to retouch this area, and it just looks so stark. And that's why it's such a big deal when celebrities do release unretouched photos, and they look good, but they look different than what you're used to. And so, you have to first accept that that's the lie that you're being fed. And then I think when you accept that, then you can move forward from it. And the way that I chose to move forward from it was just to eliminate a lot of it. And again, going back to that video that I made about role models and about decolonizing my mind, I changed my perspective on what I viewed as desirable. So curvy was one of those words that gave me a movement to belong to. And it also took away some of the pressure from me to conform to being a certain size or conform to being a certain shape, because I just like the idea that we all have curves in our body. Some curves go out, some curves go in, some are sort of even, smooth, some are bumpy, and I really like that. And if we just even look at our faces, for example, they have all these different edges and different curves and different angles, and I think that's really beautiful. So curvy was just sort of more of an artistic word that I just like the aesthetic appeal of. And I also really like words. Um, I think words like thick are cool. It's a sexualized word, but I like it still. Voluptuous sort of conjures more of like a Renaissance painting rather than, or like a Greek or Roman sculpture, or just sort of it harkens back to an earlier time in history when women's bodies were presented differently and the ideal was different. So and then there's just different words. I think healthy is another one, which is hilarious from a Pakistani perspective because healthy is this word that's sort of like used in this I don't know, like this kind of like under your breath kind of like not very, it's like definitely meant in a sarcastic way that like, oh, you've changed. But I think healthy is what is really the desirable look. I want to look like I'm full of life. I want to look like I'm vibrant and I have energy and I have passion and sort of just a sense of like of being and really just owning my life. That's really what I want my body and my face and everything else to project about me, and I hope that it does. Strong is another one. I'm not very like physically, like I can't really like lift much, and I'm not very like strong and like traditional weightlifting types of ways, but I want my body to look strong. I want it to look resilient because it is, and I think women's bodies are so strong and so resilient. Just the pain that we consider to be normal when we have cramps and things like that. Like I was in excruciating pain about a few days ago, and just really took my whole day out, and then but you have to keep going. You have to just continue to live your life as if nothing's wrong with you, and you can't really express how much discomfort you're in. And I think about the ways that women have to do that all the time, and I have the privilege of being able to sort of take time out if I need to, but even then I have to push through it, persevere, and time stops for no man, no woman. So just think about all the other women who have to go through that and don't have that kind of like privilege and that safety net. It's a pretty big deal, and I can take pain. I can tolerate pain quite well, but when your body is like crippling you from the inside, it's no joke. It is serious business. So curvy was nice. It also made me feel more feminine, which I really liked, and it made me feel sexy. And that's cool because that's just continued to grow, and I like it.